Good evening. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice, once said by Nelson Mandela. Welcome to BMC News Live, presented by Al Hilal Hospitals and Medical Centers English News. Myself, Shana Sultana, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman congratulated on the success of the elections. 494 COVID-infected voters casted their ballots in 2022 parliamentary and municipal polls. The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibition Authority participated in Gulf Cooperation Council meeting on tourism. Saudi Arabia launched e-service for government fee payment. South Africa reported bird flu outbreak on small farm. Today's news in detail. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister congratulated on the success of the elections. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, yesterday received cables of congratulations from ministers and senior officials from the public and private sectors on the success of the 2022 parliamentary and municipal elections, in which 73% of eligible voters participated. The cables commended the high voter turnout, which reflects Bahrain's national unity in light of the comprehensive development led by His Majesty King Hamad. 494 COVID-infected voters casted their ballots in 2022 parliamentary and municipal polls. A total of 494 people infected with coronavirus participated in the parliamentary and municipal elections, which were held last Saturday. Voters suffering from COVID-19 were allowed to cast their ballots at the special station at the Bahrain International Exhibitions and Convention Center in Manama. Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission Chairman, Parliamentary and Municipal Elections 2022 Executive Director Nawaf Abdullah Hamza stressed cooperation with the Ministry of Health to enable patients to cast their ballots safely and smoothly. Arab Open University unveiled new identity. The Arab Open University AOU has yesterday launched its new identity, marking the 20th anniversary of its establishment. Higher Education Council HEC Secretary General, HEC Board of Trustees Deputy Chairman Dr. Shekhar Rana bint Isa bin Daij Al Khalifa took part in the ceremony. 4 AOU branches based in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the State of Kuwait, the Arab Republic of Egypt and the Kingdom of Bahrain. Al Hilal Hospitals and Medical Centers Bahrain's COVID updates.
COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers.
The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority participated in Gulf Cooperation Council meeting on tourism. The Kingdom of Bahrain, represented by the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority BTEA, took part in the Undersecretaries of the Tourism Ministries of the GCC preparatory meeting for the 6th meeting of the Committee of GCC Tourism Ministers held in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Bahrain's delegation was headed by Dr. Nasser Qadi, the CEO of Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority. The preparatory meeting discussed a spectrum of topics, namely GCC tourism, adopted recommendations aimed at uplifting the GCC tourism industry, and submitted recommendations to the 6th meeting of the Committee of Tourism Ministers. Dr. Nasser Qadi highlighted that the tourism industry in the GCC countries is experiencing wider growth and prosperity, noting that the tourism is one of the key drivers of the GCC economies. His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued edict restructuring Babco Tawzeed Board. His Majesty the King's Representative for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Oil and Gas Holding Company Noga Holding, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa yesterday issued an edict restructuring the Board of Directors of the Babco Retail Company Babco Tawzeed. Under the edict, Isa Muhammad also and Muhammad Syed Al Shahab as Deputy Chairman of the Babco Tawzeed's board of directors he have appointed. The board shall also comprise Muhammad Ahmad Al Sada, Ibrahim Mohammed Kanu, Mahran Jamshid Mirza and Sahar Kamran Ati as members. His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa attended Children and Youth Swimming event. His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, first Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports and President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, attended a swimming event featuring young talents. The event held at the Bahrain Swimming Association pool in Isa Sports City in part of the initiative launched by the BOC in partnership with the BSA to train and teach swimming to 10,000 children and youth within the 1 year. His Highness also saw the children and youth perform as proud parents applauded. His Highness Sheikh Khalid said that he was pleased with the turnout for the initiative, which covers a key Olympic sport. He had been informed. With this, now we shall go for a short commercial break.
The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahala. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain, with over a decade of existence in Bahrain. Exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 3909 6845 3909 4806 38 85 2397 or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com.
Welcome back. Dubai announced new mandatory assessment announced for school students. A standardized reading literary assignment assessment that will be held 3 times per year had been officially mandated by the Knowledge and Human Development Authority. This is as part of the education regulator who has stipulated that all students in the 6 to 15 age range are required to sit the test. All schools in Dubai will participate in the digital reading literacy assessment for grades 1 to 12 and the Arabic benchmark test from grades 1 to 9 with effect from the academic year 2023-24. Schools have the flexibility to select a reading assessment platform and provider that it is appropriate for them and their context as long as they meet their requirements. Saudi launched e-service for government fee payment. The Ministry of Finance, represented by the National Center for Government Resources System, launched the electronic payment service for the government services fees from within and outside Saudi Arabia. The service will be implemented in cooperation with the Digital Government Authority. This will also be through a collection of system for government agencies which allows the beneficiary to complete the process of paying his service fees through the platform of each government agency that works for the service through the bank. China COVID-19 cases rose as cities cut back on testing. China's COVID cases rose further, including in the capital Beijing, even as many cities scaled back routine testing after authorities announced measures last week aimed at easing the impact of the country's heavy coronavirus curbs. China is scrambling to limit the damage of its zero COVID-19 policy nearly 3 years into the pandemic, as the latest in spite of the dismal economic report showed retail sales fell in October and factory output grew more slowly than expected. While many residents have expressed guarded optimism after Friday's announcement that some of these stringent COVID-19 policies would be eased, concerns grew this week over the worsening outbreaks and there was a confusion as some cities halted or adjusted regular timings. Australians rescued from rooftops as torrential rains. Hundreds of residents in flood-ravaged Australia's southeast were rescued by the helicopters and boat after rivers rose rapidly on Tuesday, cutting off entire towns and inundating houses, highways, bridges and farms. Emergency crews deployed more than a dozen helicopters to rescue trapped people from rooftops in the worst hit towns in New South Wales, state officials said. More than 200 flood rescue operations were conducted in the state over the past 24 hours. South Africa reported bird flu outbreak on small farm. South Africa reported an outbreak of highly pathogenic H5N2 bird flu on a farm in the eastern part of the country, the Paris-based World Organization for Animal Health (WOAH) said yesterday. Some 58 domestic birds of a total flock of 200 were found dead of the highly contagious virus, the report has added. King Charles asked the United Kingdom Parliament to allow his brother and sister to act in his place. King Charles asked the British Parliament yesterday to amend the law to allow two more of his siblings to act on his behalf in his absence. In a statement read out on his behalf in the House of Lords, the upper chamber of Parliament, Charles, who yesterday turned from 74, asked for the number of councillors of state to be increased to include his sister Princess Anne and youngest brother Prince Edward, the councillors who can act on behalf of the monarch in his absence to carry out all but his most key roles such as appointing a new prime minister are selected from his spouse and the 4 adults next in line to the throne. Today's fertilizer shortage is tomorrow's food crisis, said India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at G20 summit. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi today cautioned the G20 leaders that today's fertilizers shortage could become tomorrow's food crisis as he strongly pitched for maintaining a stable supply chain for both manure and food grains. In his address at the G20 summit in Bali, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also highlighted how India ensured food security for its 1.3 billion citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic while supplying food grains to many countries. We should build mutual agreement to maintain the supply chain of both manure and food grains stable and assured. In India, for sustainable food security, we are promoting natural farming and repopularizing nutritious and traditional food grains like millets, he said. The Prime Minister was addressing a session on food and energy security at the G20 summit. With this, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates on BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Signing off by Shana Sultana. Good night.